Alright, so let me just put this out there before you watch this video. This is a 2018 Toyota RAV4 Limited. The passenger side front door lock assembly was not working. So I bought one off of Amazon. It ends up working out perfectly. However, during the video you're going to notice there's a couple missteps. I will announce the missteps as I go, so probably watch this through maybe 1.5 or 2 times speed, because I do not edit videos. After I took off 1 or 2 pieces of the door trim, I decided to film this just so I could post it up there, just in case it gives a better angle. Maybe somebody's looking at their part confused and they want to just see it from a different angle. I try to do that in all my videos. That's why they get a little bit longer sometimes. And I apologize. Not really. So at the beginning of the video, I already took off 1, 2, I think 2 of the trim strips. It's just, they're just pop off with a automotive plastic part remover kind of tool kit from Harbor Freight Tools. It's like $6 for the whole kit of tools. You can use other things. Good luck. See you on the other side.
25 feet to a 5.
All right, for this 2018 RAV4 Limited, I'm taking off this all this garbage here. It's just little pop holders is here, and there's no hardware holding it down. There's a short screw, and then a long screw. So there is short, long. Shorts are the same. The long goes in this hole down here. Roll the window down. It's going to be a screw inside of here, so you got to pop a little cover off here. Best way to get at it is to pull this handle back, get a little pry wedge in a little Harbor Freight Tools jobby, and just pop, and it'll pop right out. And that's all this guy looks like right here. Just pops out basically from right there. Okay. This guy right here just pops out. See, how's it like that? Just come around there, pry bar, and pop, 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 pop. That's all it's holding it on, is these pop guys. This guy here, be a little more careful with this one when you get down to these tender areas at the corners here. So I ended up busting off this little tab right here on mine. Sorry about the TV in the background, but I'm unwilling to turn it off because I'm too lazy. Just connect these 2 guys right here from this by just pushing in on this tab. Oops, sorry. Pushing on this tab. And then you will see, yeah, you'll push down on this tab and pull out. The reason I'm taking this video is from my own shop notes. So this cable's got to go behind this fuzzy stuff and then probably through some plastic, I would imagine. I can wait till I get inside of here to see what's next. So I'm going to pop this whole panel off so I got the window down. That's the best configuration for it. Now we can take our little pry bar tool and probably, let's try to start at the bottom, or just a little bit hard to do it one-handed. So typically what's going on is like this upper edge is kind of like hooked and it's kind of hanging on that edge. So that's why you want to come down and get the bottom edges of this thing first. At least that's the way it was on my Highlander. So let's see if I can kind of work it in there and find an edge. Hang on. All right, so where I'm finding is like, got your whatever trash holder, cup holder right here. Just go right about here, and on the bottom lip, let's see here, there it is. This bottom lip seems like it's a little bit on the loose side, so now you can kind of work this. Oh man, I'm off camera bad here. Now I can work this around and actually feel one of those little pops, right? Little pop plasticky bippies right there. Hang on. So I just reversed it and put the flat side in, and it's gonna go along until I feel where there might be something to pop out. Oh, is that hard? With one hand, it's just not working on this video. Let's see. Up here. Wheel. And so that was it, kind of at the, let's call it the 4 o'clock position on this passenger side door. Just stuck it in there. This is the flat blade on this plastic tool instead of the bent blade. All I did is I just cranked it like this, and I heard a little pop. So that'll be 1. And I'll just keep going around doing that, popping those guys out as I go. Trying to keep a little bit of this video on, or a little bit of this project on video. Oh man, don't exactly know right now where these locations are gonna be at for the pop. Off cam. All right, so once you get a lip started there with your tool, I found it best to put both hands underneath that lip, spread them out by a half foot or a foot or so, and it's just a little bit easier to pop those out once you get your hand behind there. There should be one here. There you go. And now there should be one more maybe. There it was, somewhere up in here. And I believe the rest of this is going to be held on by that claw kind of overhang lip. So now I'll come around this side. There's probably one there. I'm getting a little tension. And I think that's going to be the last one. Let's see. Let me take this screw off here. Just for record keeping. That's what that one looks like there. It goes inside there. A little bit different from all the rest. Others are shiny. I'll try to just one-handed put my foot down here and pull. And it might be a one to pop right up in here. Yeah, so there was another one up in this corner right here to pop off. Now, unless I missed a screw in there. All right, and for record-keeping purposes, those two screws came out of these two round hole areas here on that. And they're the same size. So now I should be able to shake and pull, baby. All right, so there's your door control cables and such. So you have to manipulate those off next. Let's see if I can get this on camera, show you what I'm doing. All right, so what I did is I just kind of turn this door 90 degrees just because I only have one hand to work with and setting in this little pocket there to hold it up. And what you got is green ones on the bottom, white on the top. Should be able to pop these out of the hole. Oh shit, I didn't show you that on video. So it just pops out of this little holster. Pop that one out of that holster. Oh, the whole works comes out. Look at that, I forgot about that. So that whole thing's gonna come out of their assembly, so leave those guys in there for now. And then you can set your whole door panel aside. Sorry, it's been a while since I did the driver's side on this one. So there's your configuration as she sits in the car. The green one goes on the bottom, the white one goes on the top, and they just simply have a little relief there that they sit in a groove. So really easy to put back. So now this is like this really sticky tar kind of stuff. So what you do is you get a you can get a tool behind there and you'll just slowly work this off so that you can put it back. This stuff will stay either on the door or it'll stay on the plastic. And so your job is just to kind of put it back roughly like it is. You know, it's not a big deal. If you want to, you can take a Sharpie and you can draw out the edge of this plastic if you want to show yourself where it goes. So there you go. Drew a little rudimentary black line around the outside of this plastic. So now I know exactly where it goes. That's not a big deal. You're just trying to make sure that this stays water resistant on the inside. There you go. So now with two hands, you take a prying tool. You can just kind of, you know, start peeling it back and chopping at this stuff to get it to free itself, but to stay either on the door side or the plastic side. All right, and if you grab really close to where you're pulling from, it'll start separating out. You can take a razor blade and cut this and it'll snap to one side or the other. So basically, I do this one-handed, but what I'm doing is I pull out a little bit here so that it starts to stretch out. And then with my other hand, I'm chasing behind, I'm just kind of going tap, 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 and just cutting that string of black goo as I go, such as like that, but not cutting the plastic. So I believe that's all I'm going to need. As long as you have access to this hole and to this hole here and to this little plug-in, that's basically what you're going to need. Now you're going to need to take these three out here for your actual door lock mechanism. And what that's going to be is a T30 Torx bit. Up there. Good old Harbor Freight tools. And that is simply just going to standard threads, lefty, loosey, righty, tighty, crank those guys out, remove them to the side, and this lock mechanism is going to be free floating off of this inside. We're going to pull that unit out this way. The unit that we are pulling out of here is this right here. So this is the replacement off of Amazon. Typically I found that little that connector in there, this does not connect very well in there, so we'll see if this one works. So let's do this. Let's release this little tab that's inside of here, push it towards the opening in the door and pull straight out, and just leave your electronics sitting to the side. This is going to go that way. There's a little like a kind of a water seal on the inside of here. You'll notice there'll be some tension, so just make sure you try to leave all of this black shroud in its place. Oh, excuse me. Okay, right there. I don't know what the orientation is exactly. It should be about like that. Okay, so there's your new seal. I didn't realize this had that on there. I think I've had some that didn't. Hey, let's see what happens. Alright, so the 3 bolts that come out of there are exactly the same. Pull this last one out, and that device should be free now. So we'll push this in, and there it goes, dropping down. We should be able to maneuver it out of there. So what's going on though is, I wonder if I'm going to be able to show it. You see in the reflection, right there, there's that, that's a reflect, actually I'm sorry, that's behind the glass. That's the glass right there. Huh. I'm wondering if I need to raise my window to do this easier. Let me figure it out. Oh, let me show you what I'm trying to get at. So here's the configuration, the orientation inside there, right? Well, right on top of this, on the other side, here's this little gearing looking mechanism. Typically what that is there's a bar that comes down with a hook, it's kind of a hook end on there, a 90, and it plugs into the back side of there. So I need to try to get that out of there, and it does look like I need to have the glass up in order to do this. So I will just temporarily reconnect my electronics here, accessories on in the vehicle. I'll be careful to pull this unit forward so my glass doesn't get caught and shatter on something, and I think we can work on this better with the window up now that I'm looking at it. It does look like that's the ticket. So here's that device that we're talking about right here, I believe. That should be it. Let me see if I can start pushing this out of here and show you what's going on when I release this. So again, the back side of there, this thing comes down, it has a little hook there. Let's see if I can shimmy and be able to show you disconnecting. There you go. So that's all it is. I thought it had a hook on it, it doesn't. So it must just feed straight down into it apparently. It's got a bend in it right here anyway. So I must just reach over. Let's see what's up. Now I think this whole thing should come out of here at this point. Let's see, where's the, what's it holding up on in there? What is this, the window guide, I think this thing, yeah, that's the window guide itself, and it does feel like it's hanging up on that, so I might need to actually unbolt that window guide, and it's been a while, but I'm guessing it's this bolt right here by the position of everything, so that'll just come out and then go right back in where it came from. That holds that bar vertically for your window to so if you actually look at, see, I don't see any other bolts that that it could be, so I think this just holds that window guide. It's got a little arc in it maybe. Let's see. So don't start this just yet, but let me see if this, what is that, on 11 mil? Okay, just hang with me, don't do it yet. Let me tell you if it needs to be done. So it's a 10 millimeter. I believe that thing should be swinging in there. I don't think it's just gonna fall down once I take this out. So record keeping, there's your bolt, 10 millimeter, and now this window guide is just swinging loose along with this whole assembly. So it appears to be hanging up on this back corner. So I think we now should be able to manipulate this guy around here and drop out. Easier, a little easier. Alright, there you go. Alright, so that is it. So yeah, go ahead and remove that, that 10 millimeter bolt from right there. I'll show you that all you're going to have to do when you're done, once you get your new one installed, is get back in here. See this little bracket foot right there? There's your backside welded on bolt. And on this side, you just got to kind of work it around until it gets to right there. Let's see here. See if I can line it up.
You were always my favorite.
Seems like this cable's kind of in the way of that. So if I was a betting man, I'd say that that cable goes underneath the foot like that, and then this goes up against there. Yeah, and you can actually see it pretty much line up like that. Anyway, that's exactly what it is, and we'll find the hole here after we're done. Now with the two of these, this is the old one, this is the new one. Just, you know, lay them side by side, and you'll see that you're going to take the yellow one off. It's very, very easy, guys. So just pull it towards the camera, pop it out of that little nook. You see this little barrel, move it to the, so that gap is there, and pull straight up. Bring it over. Sorry. Drop it down in, over to here. Done. It's really that easy. Let me study this blue one here. The blue one's contained inside this housing, but it does look like there's a couple tabs here, maybe pry tabs or something. Let me figure that out on the new one and see how that clamshell opens up to get us access to plugging that in. So what I did is I took a fairly narrow screwdriver and I just shoved it into the end here. There's this hole, the hole where the cable comes out, so I shoved it in there and just kind of pried up. And I shoved it in the other, oh my gosh, I'm all off camera. Shoved it in the other side and pried up, shoved this side and pried up, and then it hinges on this back side here. So now you have, let's go on the old one here. This is hard on it. It's just too hard with one hand. Let's see if I can use some tools here to try and show you. So got it kind of pried up right now. And if I can get my pry bar tool in there, I'll just stick that in there to pop it up. There it is. All right, that's pretty shitty. Okay, so you see how that one's in there? It's got that cable, and it's probably a bent hook end. There's your bent hook end. So on this one, you can go aim that straight down to the ground, that hook, and then put it through the hole, and then it'll naturally fall into place. So that is it. It's just down inside the hole, and then there's that little bend in it that goes that way. Now let's seat this in its little nook. We'll close the door. When it's seated, it's just like that. And shut your door and should click close. Let's work on that. There you go. I did have to push rather hard at this whole thing, and just it eventually just clicked a really affirmative, solid click into place. That should be it, ready for reinstall. Right, so the same way that we came out, we'll go in through the small opening here. Just kind of work it around. One-handed angle sucks. There we go. Bring it back into the zone. Now let's work on getting that thing set in there. All right, so here's an amendment I have for you. Remember how I said that it goes in that top piece right there, right? Well, it doesn't. It actually goes straight down into this piece right here. That's why it's in the straight configuration. The reason I got misled is this is a blank. This is the old one here. It's got a blank knockout there. This one must be designed for multiple different year make models, Chinese knockoff, whatever, so it actually has both this mechanism and this mechanism already on there. So you're going to be aiming to put it down inside of this mechanism's hole here, right here. All right, so I dropped it down inside this hole, and now I'm just going to work on getting center frame, that bent bar, getting this down into that lower hole down in there, right by my finger twitching. So I'm gonna have to come off camera. There's just absolutely no way I'm gonna be able to manipulate this without two hands. Let me try to show you the concept here. So, remember, you got your little window guide bar. So we want to make sure that that window guide bar stays on that side of your door lock mechanism. So work that behind your window guide bar first, and then drop this little bent bar into the bottom end of your door latch mechanism. Okay, so I've got my window bar on the back side here, and then I've got my bent bar center screen there, just started into that hole, right? Then now I'm gonna work this up into position and put my little electronics in that window, this thing's going to get into this area here, and you'll be lining up those holes. And as long as you have still retained everything like that, you should be lined up pretty good. Then we just have to re-bolt our window guide last. So what I did once I got that lined up is I just put 2 of these just kind of a little bit in just to hold that whole mechanism in place. Now I can futz around and manipulate. I want to push that styrofoam into that void a little bit. I'll probably try to take a small pick and just try to get in here to make a nice seal. What I'm doing is taking a Harbor Freight tool. I'm just kind of like going to pick around that area and just try to work it around there to get that foam to pop out like the other one was. So now that we're in place, what I might suggest is actually plug in the electronics on there and then plug in your larger of the 2. Where's my other electron? Oh, sorry. Then plug in my white plug on here and actually make sure the door lock works. Turn it in, put the vehicle on accessory mode just to make sure this door actually locks and unlocks before we put this all back together. So here we go. We got our white plug plugged in. The other one you don't need to plug in just yet. Our big white plug right there, your center screen. And again, this is the one I always fail to see this thing actually click on these Chinese knockoff ones. So let's see if this one actually works. It actually did. I usually have to jury rig those on my Toyota Highlander, and I'm almost positive I had to jury rig that on that door over there. So we will now go into accessory mode, and I should be able to. Should be able to lock unlock. I don't think I need anything else. Let me look around here. And I apologize, you guys. I had to plug in that big white one there. I've got a lot of mistakes in this video. I'm not going to edit it out though. The big one lowers the window. The small one's your actual door lock. The blue one there on mine. So yeah, so there you go. And there you go. It works. So I need to show you something that I had a little hard time with. It looks easy to resolve. Okay, so you have your window track right there, running up, running up, running up, running up, and all the way up there. So when I drop this out, let's see if I can show you where what it does is there's the rubber part on the front and then there's the metal part on the back right here, right? If I pull down, oops, let me get my screwdriver out of the way. Got that just kind of holding it in place. So what it did is when I futz around, move this around, watch when I pull, I'm going to pull down with my thumb and that whole thing slides out. Where it's sliding out of is up here. See that black thing sliding right there? So it's going to get loose on you. So that part has to be slid back up to maintain it. It basically stiffens it. Right there you see the flex now, so I'm pushing it up and wiggling and boom, it slides into its track. Once it slides in, it stops. There's a definite stop point. That's when you're going to be able to line up here in this hole, as you see. So make sure you get that thing pushed up into place correctly. A little bit goofy, but basically your window's got to come down in it, right? So you want to make sure that whole thing at assembly it tracks straight all the way down. It's not that hard, but it's just caught me off guard. And then let's go ahead and throw our screw back in. I think this should be the right one. I gotta look at my video. All right, orient you. Show you where we're at here. Let's see, the flash off so I can zoom back down in. So I'm right down here and just putting a little good and tight. I put about 20 foot-pounds on. I don't know what the actual torque spec is. 20 a lot of work. That's quite a bit of torque. One last check up in here just to make sure that I got all that stuff nice and straight. It's all rigid. Yeah, that track anyway, right? Okay, so now we can move on and should be able to tighten up these 3 bolts over here. Alright, so we got all of our bolts back in place. Now we need to work on the rest. Alright, so I just tagged this up in the corner just to keep the sticky there. So this guy right here, we came through this little slit opening that they had towards the top, just to end up on this side of the white. And then nothing fancy with this stuff. You're just, sticking it back down where it was at before. Yeah, that should be it. And just kind of like the electric cable just kind of goes behind it. And then easy to follow the line because it's just the goop line that you're following anyway. Stick goop to goop, there's plenty of it left behind. Alright, so I'll do a little better job off camera just to make sure that's all sandwiched down nice and snugly and water resistantly. And another thought I just had, as you're drawing this line, if you choose to do that around here, you could also clock this by drawing a line like this on the plastic, then continuing the line out in a couple places, and I'll show you exactly kind of where it's supposed to go. But here's a way to clock it also. There's a screw that goes into this little clip, and the hole associated with that is right there, so that kind of helps to, you know, basically automatically clock it. All right, now we should be able to, I believe, take our door. I'm going to go ahead and feed that handle through. I'm going to feed those wires through here, so those are readily available. And then I'm going to take this. Oh, I should show you this steel lip. The reason I do these long videos, it isn't because I'm a pro editor, obviously, but I like to show parts that other people may just kind of skip past. So this skinny metal edge right here, and then your glass. Well, that skinny metal edge is actually sitting or inside out, so I'm actually looking at the inside door. This metal edge is actually just kind of sitting up in here. It's getting pinched between this and your door, so it really is just kind of hanging on that metal edge right there. All right, so before I hang this, basically I just shove the handle portion through, and on the back side, if you can see this, there's the plastic portions on the back side. So you're just literally just slipping the silver handle through to this side, and then down there, make sure those wires are through this hole. And now we're going to just tilt this door a little bit towards me, put it on the edge, and it should just kind of hang there and fall right into its natural place. It's pretty straightforward, actually. Yeah, so it's just hanging there now, and it just kind of rests on that lip as long as it looks flush around here. Everything looks good. You should be able to start matching up holes, which I'm gonna have to turn on my flash for that. So now inside there's your screw hole inside of that one, so you know it's basically lined up when you got your screws lined up, right? All right, so this guy we're gonna have to manipulate a little bit until we get that hole to line up right there. Let's go ahead and put our bolt. Remember, that was the black one here. So I said bolt, I mean screw, of course. All right, finish that one up on video. Not that you need to see me turn a damn screw in, but that is all we are doing here until it is good and tight. Now we should be able to take this guy, plug in our two electrical connections, and then we should be able to set it in its place there, and it'll just naturally click in with all these connectors real quick and easy. So that's it, just two quick connectors, literally. And then let's see here, bam, bam. That's it, done. Okay, let's see, now next we'll go ahead and all of our little tabs, we're going to go ahead and push our door in on the corners and get all these tabs to latch. Let me see how easy that is. So to do that, all I'm doing is I'm just kind of pushing it, like hitting it along the edges in different places while I'm holding the door back with my other hand and getting them to snap into their position. All right, and what I'm finding is this is a little bit different. So a strange tab configuration actually on some of these I wasn't expecting. So on this guy here, it's actually a male tab, right? But on this one, let me get the flash back on. This one threw me for a half a second loop. It's just a flat tab. And on the inside, where is its partner, is that black kind of half hole. So what I did is, here, I just kind of pulled back like this to flex this panel out, and then let it go and push it to the door and let it go, and that little half moon will kind of like grab onto that tab. I hope that explains it. It's the best I could do, guys. So those little half C-shaped ones, I'm going to refer to those as kind of like flex tabs. So there's one right about here, there's one right about here, there's a couple on this bottom lip, and I think there's one in the middle. So those you'll just have to kind of pull that panel and flex it and push on it and make them grab, and you'll be able to feel when it's done, because this edge is going to seat really tightly all the way around. This one's a little loose, so maybe I didn't get that one, but it is good enough for government work, I guarantee that. So if I ever have to go back and tighten that one up, I will. And I would assume that there's some flex tabs around this one and this one as well. there's a big gap on this side, so I got to kind of figure that out as I go. But study the back of your panel before you put it on, and the where it's going on to match up those surfaces. You'll be able to figure out how to do that. Alrighty, let's see, what else can we do? So now we can put on this little guy here, pull your handle out, and orient this like this, and slap that one in there. It should just, probably even do this with one hand, sort of. There you go, it just plugs in just like that. Now we can take this little triangle one here. That should just pop in. Oop. I don't even know if I'm going to post this video or not, but somebody will get something out of there. Maybe a part they might see differently that they need. Now I'm going to go ahead and put in the 2 screws into these, and the bigger screws into these, smaller screw in this one, and I think there's 4 total. Yeah, it might be 1, 2, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go, all 4 of those are in, and should be just a matter of our last trim strip. So study it, look what you got. It's just a bunch of quick clips. Again, I busted the one off the bottom, so we'll see how flat that sits. Okay, that didn't really matter, it sits pretty good.
People in hell, what I swore doesn't mean you're going to get it.
That there, I believe we have a door. So let's see if this door locks and unlocks.
Who is this Silo? What's he doing?
He's a trail across dozens of slits. All people in Pale battles with objects. Phone was broken, all without any traceable sign of physical contact. But only some of them.
There we go. Actually worked the first time. Usually I fail one time.
I think it's going to get a lot worse for someone else.
Oh, there we go.
Is this Silo?
Okay, let's see. Touch to lock, I believe. Gotta keep dropping the key. And now double push for unlock, I believe. And there it is. Alright guys, sorry it took so long to get through that video, but hopefully there's some other details in there that you can see, and sorry about the annoying TV in the background and my annoying voice. Amen. Amen.